soft. Split up. Hips expanded. Jump. There you go. Nice job, ladies. Now, your left leg. Just do it. Yes. Through the floor. Ribs, fingers, and second round, let's get 5. Or 10, if you're big boy. Jackie, don't go where your head is. Hey. Alright, let's see what we got here. Nice, Juju. Daddy, keep going.
Okay, so when we talk, just like look here, don't look at the camera.
Okay.
I have people that love to just stare into the camera. I'm like, this isn't all about you right now. Like I had one person in the interview, she was literally just like talking directly into the camera like this. And it was like and I was just like, can you calm down? Like this is not anything. Okay, so we can start with like easy questions. So like, how long have you been playing?
I've been playing tennis since I've been like 4 years old.
4 years old? And was it something that your family played, or did you picked it up yourself?
No, my parents did not play. My dad played hockey and my mom was a gymnast. But my brother was starting to play. He was 5 years older than me, and he started playing tennis with like at the local club and like just taking classes. So I just like wanted to tag along, do what he did. So that's how it began.
All right. That's kind of like a Wozniacki story. I think Caroline
Is it?
Wozniacki, the same way her brother always played, and then she kind of picked it up, and then, well, now she's a professional. So
The rest is history.
yeah, and #1, so former. So you said earlier you're a full-time grunter. Is that something that started when you were young, or is it always?
No, actually, I was like really embarrassed because like I thought it was like embarrassing to grunt when I was younger. So like I used to try really hard not to grunt, but then when I got to a certain age, and then I really liked Nadal, and he grunted. So I like used to like model what he did, like everything, like from like his habits with like placing the water bottles and like his forehand. We have like the same forehand now. So like yeah, like and then I started grunting like him, and then it just became like habitual, and like yeah, like I can't control it anymore. And yeah, like when it's kind of interesting to see how my grunt changes, like with the tempo of the match, like towards the like with the more pressure points, like my grunt is much louder. And that's just not something I can control. It's just something that just comes naturally when I'm nervous, and I just kind of let it out.
So you're not doing it as a distraction to others. It's
No.
just meant like it's a habit.
It's a habit. Like I wouldn't be able to like stop it now.
Yeah. So do you think, are there other players, what percentage of players that you play do you think grunt on at least the college circuit?
I would say about half and half. Really depends. Probably more than half grunt, I think.
Are there some that you think verge on like
Doing it on purpose?
tactic? Yeah.
I've played a couple girls who've just been like, just scream when they hit the ball. And, I mean, I don't know, like, I'd have to talk to them about it, but like, I'd have to imagine they've been doing it for so long that it's kind of like, it's a habit now. And now it's hard for them to break it. Like, maybe when they first began to play tennis, their dad or their coach was like, you need to scream when you hit the ball, like grunt really loud, it's going to distract your opponent. Maybe they like taught themselves to do it at first, and now it's just such a habit. It's like walking now.
You said scream. I think that's what a lot of people associate it with. Do you think there are different levels of grunting? Like, do you think they're kind of like...
There's different kinds of grunts. Like for example, my grunt's a little bit more like, it's longer, it's long. It's like, I don't know, like, and then there's just different types of grunt, I guess.
Because I was watching some of Sharapova's matches, because I'm a Sharapova fan. Well, Serena first and foremost, but then I like Sharapova, and I've noticed in some of her matches, she has her traditional routine, like high pitch, like, I mean, you know what it sounds like. But then there's some matches where, like, if she takes a couple points off from not grunting and she'll do it again, it actually sounds, it's like deeper, and you can tell it's like a truer grunt. So it's like, there's like the real grunt, and then there's kind of like the performance, the annoying, the like, this is just what I do, but I don't feel like it's actually like a real grunt for what a grunt actually is. Like, it's just exertion of energy. Because like Azarenka, like, to me, that's not, when you're hitting it like a backhand slice, it's like, does it really, do you grunt at all points in the match, like every shot type of?
Pretty much, yeah. It's just, yeah, even when it's an easy shot, it's just part of my rhythm. Like, gets me in a rhythm. So, like, even like if it's just warming up, like maybe if I want to get going, like get in the like match mode or get in the zone, like I'll start grunting, and it like helps me set and focus. So it doesn't really have to do with the like difficulty of the shot necessarily. It's more like just part of the game, like my game style, and also just, but like also I said, like on the pressure points, sometimes it's louder or longer. So I mean, it varies on a couple of things probably, but yeah, not necessarily if it's an easy shot. It's like on purpose.
So what do you think about the WTA trying to get rid of it in the game?
Well, I think like once you can practice, if they do, like if that's a rule, I'm not really up to date on it, but certainly that's something you can practice. Like if you have like an absurdly loud scream of a grunt, like that's something you can probably take to the practice courts and really work on, like bringing it down a couple levels or and whatnot. It's certainly something that can be practiced. It would be hard though in the middle of a match just to say stop it, but if you worked on it, I think that could easily be changed.
So since you grunt, do you find others that do grunt distracting, or do you just, it doesn't even matter to you?
No.
Or is it just the extremes that kind
Yeah,
of?
I mean the screaming stuff can get on your nerves sometimes, but I mean once you're in the zone, like match zone, it doesn't really matter anymore. You get used to it. I mean, yeah, it doesn't really bother me.
Okay, well, I think that is. What do you think about grunting in the women's game?
I don't know.
Do you think it's annoying, or is it gamesmanship? Are they trying to distract other people by doing it?
I don't think so.
All right, thank you.
She brought that up, that the girls that were grunting before are allowed to grunt, and the new grunters, there's no grunting.
Yeah.
They actually have spoke about it in the tennis world. It's already come to an issue, and that was the ruling, that new grunters, you're not allowed to grunt, but the old grunters are allowed to continue grunting. Me personally, there's no need for grunting. You hit the ball the same way. Usually the grunting issue, the sound issue, is a timing thing for the hitter. They bounce hit. That's what tennis players are thinking. And instead of bounce hit in their head, they're thinking bounce ah. So a lot of them use the timing. It's their timing sequence. But is it necessary? No. You see that lots of tennis players, only a few grunters.
Sanity.
Speak however you wish. All right, so what are your thoughts on grunting in the women's game?
I've always been against it. Right from the start, the Yugoslavian player, I can't remember her name.
Celis?
Yeah, and now you get a match where both opponents are screaming, and it's just annoying. But you know, I'm only watching. They're playing. If it helps them, I guess they can do it, unless they ban it. And I don't think they'll be able to ban it.
My thought about grunting the women's game is that it's completely unnecessary. It takes away from the game, and it takes away from people enjoying the game, especially as a spectator. I know many people that go to a lot of tournaments, U.S. Open, the Bank of the West up at Stanford University, and a lot of people that go to the women's matches, if there's a lot of grunting, they will leave the court and go inside and watch the match on the monitor inside in the clubhouse.
What are your thoughts on grunting in the women's game?
Well, grunting is fine, screaming is different. It's two different things. Everybody grunts somewhat because it's a natural reaction of the body if you're breathing. and exhaling, but when it gets to be screaming, then that's a little too much, I think, in my opinion. And I
All right, so what are your thoughts on grunting in the women's game?
In the women's game, it's not a big deal. It doesn't seem to be a big deal in the guys' game when Nadal seems to grunt on points. The only thing is if it's a distraction to the point where after you hit the ball, then you have a delayed grunt, that could be a hindrance. But grunting is just it started off just like point of contact. I grunt when I hit, so why wouldn't girls be allowed to grunt? It's like it helps you on point of contact with the ball. You exhale. It's kind of like a grunt. It helps your breathing because you're supposed to breathe in
So
tennis.
it doesn't affect you when you watch?
When I watch, not at all. I know some grunting echoes in some courts, and that can seem kind of. I know the French really hate grunting, but Monica Seles was a grunter, Azarenka, Serena, Venus, they all grunt. They're some of the greatest. So why is it a big